On June 20, 2025, an Iranian missile strike named Fath destroyed a building in Tel Aviv, previously known as a school. However, behind the facade of an educational institution lay a major secret now revealed to the world. The building, considered a school until that moment, was actually a training center for agents of the Israeli intelligence service, Mossad. Hidden behind its ordinary exterior were thousands of secret documents and military technologies used to train senior agents and future Israeli spies. Immediately after the strike, the Israeli government issued a statement claiming the target was a civilian school hit by an unjustified Iranian missile attack, accusing Iran of killing Israeli citizens. However, the international community began questioning Israel's claims after evidence emerged indicating the strike targeted a military facility. Over 100 Mossad agents and hundreds of Israel Defense Forces (IDF) soldiers were killed as a result of the attack. Iran, initially responding to Israel's condemnation, presented intelligence documents proving the building was not a civilian school but a training center for Israel's secret agents, equipped with advanced technology. The attack caused significant damage to Israel, not only destroying buildings worth hundreds of millions of dollars, but also resulting in the loss of highly trained personnel critical to the country. The facility played a key role in training Israeli intelligence operatives active worldwide. The United States, Israel's main ally, quickly reacted to the attack, accusing Iran of targeting a civilian site. However, various independent sources began highlighting discrepancies between Israel's statements and the reality on the ground. International media sources claimed Iran's attack on the school was a deliberate act aimed at destroying Israeli military facilities disguised as civilian structures. Satellite imagery and other evidence supported these claims. International pressure on Israel intensified after new evidence emerged. European countries expressed serious concern over Israel's use of civilian facilities to conceal military activities. The Israeli government, which initially tried to hide the truth, began losing control in managing the crisis. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu remained silent as the world condemned the actions of a country long considered the United States' primary ally. Domestically, protests erupted in Israel. Feeling deceived by their government, Israeli society began questioning its policies. Criticism came from all sides, including politicians, journalists, and activists demanding transparency. "We were used as a shield for Israel's political and military interests," declared a journalist covering the events. The school, believed to be a place for children, turned out to be a Mossad training center funded by the Israeli people. Pressure also came from within Israeli political parties. Some parliament members called for Netanyahu's resignation, arguing his policies damaged the country's image and jeopardized national security. Meanwhile, senior Iranian officials provided further details about the attack in a press conference, presenting evidence that Israel deliberately used civilian facilities to cover up military activities. "We did not attack non-military targets," stated an Iranian government representative. "We targeted an intelligence training center openly hidden under the guise of a school." Iran's evidence included recordings of Israeli officials discussing strategies to disguise military operations as civilian activities, further worsening Israel's position. Some European countries sharply condemned Israel's actions, accusing it of using its citizens as a shield for covert military operations. "Israel has manipulated the international community on a massive scale," an EU official stated. Hundreds of casualties, primarily Israeli agents and soldiers, further damaged the country's global image. International media reported that many victims were high-ranking agents who played critical roles in Israel's overseas intelligence operations. In a short time, several countries, particularly in the Middle East, began protesting Israel's actions. The pressure continues to mount, and Israel faces more serious diplomatic challenges than ever before. Amid international debates, Iranian leaders firmly stated they would continue to combat Israel's lies. They promised to release further evidence proving the attack was precise, and urged the world to stop supporting Israel's false narrative. In Tel Aviv, the destruction from Iran's missile strike was severe. Debris was scattered around the building, reduced to ruins. Streets, once filled with cars, now stood empty as Israeli ambulances and security forces worked to evacuate the wounded. The city is gripped by a tense atmosphere, with Israelis questioning the purpose of these facilities. Some admitted they were unaware the building, thought to be a school, held a major secret. "We feel deceived," said a resident living near the site. On the international stage, the United States struggles to maintain its support for Israel, but with increasingly compelling evidence, this stance is being questioned. Western countries that previously backed Israel are expressing doubts and questioning the wisdom of supporting a state that conceals military activities behind civilian facades. Some political factions began attacking Netanyahu, deeming it unacceptable for Israel to hide military facilities under the guise of civilian targets. "We've been used as pawns in this grand game," stated a member of an opposition party. With more evidence emerging, Israel finds itself in a highly precarious situation, facing not only international pressure, but also growing domestic unrest. Protests have expanded across various cities, with calls for the Israeli government to take responsibility for the long-concealed lie. In an emergency cabinet meeting, Netanyahu attempted to calm officials and parliament members, but the tense atmosphere was hard to contain. "We will prove we made no mistakes," he claimed, though his words seemed unconvincing. Tensions escalated when Israel's foreign minister announced diplomatic measures to ease the pressure. An investigative journalist, who previously uncovered information about these facilities, reported that some Israelis in the protests felt used by their government. "We feel like we've been used as a shield in a larger game," he said in frustration. Friction emerged not only domestically, but also among Israel's closest allies. The United Kingdom and France, which had supported Israel on various international issues, began questioning Netanyahu's government policies, demanding transparency about the hidden activities. Meanwhile, Iranian leaders, satisfied with exposing the truth, stated their missile strikes aimed to destroy an Israeli military training center disguised as a school. They reminded the world that Israel must be held accountable for actions that long used its people as a shield for military activities violating international law. In the days following the attack, residents of Tel Aviv and all of Israel began feeling the consequences. Beyond immense material losses, internal political tensions and diplomatic fallout severely damaged Israel's global image. Former supporters of Israel started doubting its honesty, and countries that were its main allies are re-evaluating their relationships with the nation.